There is a Zen saying that where the question arises is the answer. I've known that for 30, 40 years, but I just found one incident that is precisely corresponding to that statement. Again, the statement is where the question rises is the answer. And the case I found is that I was trying to find a file from downloads so that I can put it into the file that when I open up the YouTube application, such that just upload it by clicking that file. But when I try to do that, the pop-up menu, I think that's how you call it, tells me find the file, select the file or something. And when I try to select the file, which is when I open it, that I click that, I'm nowhere to find the downloads file. This is like a magic. I have it on my screen on the side, downloads, but when I select the file to get there, I cannot find it. So I asked the question, this happened to Gemini, and Gemini started to answer. And when I start to read, but I question myself, how could this be possible? Because Gemini was saying that find the iMovie file or something, but if I look for the file, then I'm not selecting the file itself, so it may be gone. So I'm puzzled. So I read the sentence again when the YouTube says select the file, but it also says you can transfer the file. I didn't read that. So I could transfer the file from the downloads file, which is already something I can access easily, and I keep it always. So every time I develop the YouTube video, the whole video goes to that downloads file when I process in iMovie. So when it's select, I didn't have to select. It's already there in the other file, which I couldn't access. Therefore, when I ask the question and reread this sentence there, that's when I found the answer. So right where the question arises was the answer, or the path to the answer. So reflecting this stupid, kind of boring perhaps, example, I found that I was rushing something to select. But in that fine print, it says that you can also, how do you call it, transfer and bring down the file directly. So the answer was right there. Now, this sounds like a stupid point to make a video. But can you imagine how much time I spent looking for the file every time I look for the file in download? Sometimes I succeeded, sometimes I couldn't. And I didn't bother because eventually I'll find it. But this time I couldn't. So the pain was big enough, number one. So I asked AI, number two, when I start to read it, the description is too long and didn't look like it solved the problem, because I have to find the iMovie library, but I already have it on my screen. downloads file. So the answer was right there, in front of my eyes. Would this be meaningful to post this video? I think it is, because it may point that I'm stupid, I'm not reading things right, and the pain is big enough that I learned the lesson that I have to read more carefully. That's number one, which I often dismiss, because I assume that AI, or Apple, or whoever does those programs should make everything to be customer friendly. The answer is sometimes yes, sometimes not. So where's the burden of proof? I don't know. I don't care. I want to get the stuff done. In the other video, I shared the difficult time I had with Gemini AI, that they're not getting the point. And in this case, they are the one who was jumping into the conclusion and not reading carefully to what I said. So it's kind of like a coupled problem. On one end, I had the problem of not reading the precise sentence. On the other hand, AI did make a mistake of not reading my precise sentence. And we just go with the habitual pattern and jump into conclusion. What's the end summary for this? It's like one of those CAPD, check, act, plan, do. After many CAPD of not getting things done right, I asked again, check, act, plan, do process, and in the process, I found the answer. Asking the question, using AI. They didn't answer, but their interaction with me provided, okay, I better go step by step carefully. So many things are going on these days with this digitalization. I'm sure many people spend time like this. This is the pain for the growth. I can either get mad, complain, like I did complain to AI, and AI admitted their mistake. And in this case, I admitted my mistake of not reading the fine print. But AI helped as an intermediary to cushion my question and to come up their answer, which may not have been the right answer. I didn't even read. Usually when they come up with the answer, that's too long. And when I hit one sentence that is bad enough or intuitively not right, I would stop reading and ask the question to AI. I learned the process. Sorry for the noise. I learned the process not wasting time and rely on intuition in that example based upon my past experiences with AI. Many of you may find that what I just said in this video is obvious or nothing to be considered. My view is that it is important enough for me to make a video. That in this day and age, all the system and everything is changing. And the application and the machine, everything is updating. And we are just chasing the moving target all the time. And there's the logic why it happens, and how things get bogged down and be frustrated, and AI making mistake as well. And they're learning sometimes maybe very, very slow. So I make a complaint. But that's what the situation is. If I picture myself in the mirror getting upset with these little things and that little thing, that would be an interesting video that I can reflect on. I can imagine how I process in this case. Not too bad. But I think we are to reflect with each other so that we are communicating, understanding with each other, understanding within each of us, AI, me, or any viewer for my video. So my time I spend may be waste. If you think it's not meaningful, in my view, this is enough evidence that I want to make a case on this video about how we deal with AI and the technological advancement in this digital world, which makes everything to be precise. No looseness. I like the looseness and floating in the air kind of thing and make things happen. I'm at 77 years old. I have a choice of not dealing with it, probably, if I'm determined to. But I'm hanging on to this because I'm concerned about the impact of these to the people, and many people would give up, like I got frustrated. The old habit is difficult to die. But if we spend time to be quiet, ask the question, keep asking the question, what happened, why, what can be done, and then move forward. Okay, it didn't work, why, and why. In one of the book, my first book, I talked about 5 whys. Get to the root of the problem. This is the case. We should not jump into conclusion to say this is it, but rather CAPD or ask why 5 times. Be diligent, calm and quiet. Let's learn the lesson and not drop out of this changing process, because like in the past, all the technological advancement had faced difficulties to punch through, to get better. Somehow, we are flexible enough as human, we can adjust that. It takes time. It's a habitual pattern that needs to be changed. In my case, I'd rather to work this thing out so that I can still ride the wave of the universe, the change, and not be upset about it. If you have any comment, send me. We can laugh at it. Yeah. Having fun, laugh at it, enjoy it. Thank you.